So what's up with airplane dicks?
Once again, you beat me to the punch. If this happens again, I murder you in your sleep. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Skeleton Crew Podcast. I'm your host, Stross. That's Sardo, who decided to once again beat me to the punch to what we're opening up
Hi.
this week with. Say hello again.
I couldn't help it.
In fairness, this was sent to us by my friend Ash. Shout out to Ash, who also
Gosh.
is the origin of the picture of a skeleton contemplating Picari sweat.
Hell yeah.
But we have to talk about this thing she sent us, which was a dildo. That was we're not sure if it's an April Fool's joke, but it is shaped like an airplane.
I mean, even if it is an April Fool's joke, I mean, oh, what are the people that have like a fetish for like airplanes?
I don't know.
You know?
I know
No, no,
you.
no.
I know what you mean. We've been on the internet too long. We've been
It's
here
like it's
too
really an
long.
impressive piece of craftsmanship. I mean, it's it's sculpted very nicely. I guess from what I could tell, I am not a dildo craftsman, but
Are
it's
you saying you're not my local dildo monger?
I mean, we don't live in the same place, so no, I'm not your local anything.
Yeah, this is true, but I'm not even sure if this is real or if this is just like a really good 3D render. Not really the point.
But it's beautiful.
It is. It is a DW Airlines. It's a fuselage of an airplane, and it's clearly designed to be a dildo. It was sent to me earlier tonight, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna have to talk about it. With the express statement of we're gonna have to talk about it.
Yes.
This was sent to me to be discussed here today, and I'm like, yes, absolutely, you're correct.
And I mean, technically this is our first like viewer submission, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Ash, props to you. Thank you
Yeah,
for being our
first one.
first viewer to
Took
submit content.
took 10 episodes. I'm not sure if that's a record. Definitely for
Stress.
skeletons.
We've made it to the big time now.
Yes.
Fame
Fuck.
has already changed me.
All right. It's time for us to make 2 cents on this podcast.
But
Single cents.
that
One for me, one for you.
I'm rich.
And no, we're just in fact trading the same hay penny between each other.
Oh boy, a hay penny.
Ah, yes, a halfpence. This will feed everyone. This will surely buy a stale piece of bread for the peoples.
Perhaps a cup of gruel to soak it in.
We can finally dine on water and bread. With water soup. But yes, this was sent in, and it's just so goofy and so silly. Like, it has windows. It has a door.
I'm gonna say, I do feel some level of concern for like the because the front window of it, it's sculpted in there, and it's like you don't want anything that's gonna cause air bubbles.
Yeah, this is true. And also would be a bitch to clean out.
Yes, not fun.
Yes. But we're pretty sure this was just a gag thing that was made as a joke.
Hey, in either way, it is something that exists in the world.
And we love it.
And speaking of things that exist in the world,
And that we don't love, as you're going to learn very harshly. So,
so
no, I want to preface this before we get started with every time, this is the second thing that has been read and or watched for this podcast. Specifically, one of us hadn't engaged with it before, and the other is forcing the other to engage with it. I want to note that when I did this, it was a good thing.
it's my turn now, motherfucker.
Yeah, and I want you to just note the quality difference when you go back and re-listen to or listen to future episodes on Heike story, okay? Let's go. Sardo, take it away.
Stross, okay, I want to start by asking you. I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Tite Kubo, Japanese artist, manga artist, made a little known indie underground manga called Bleach.
Now
You
that
ever
we're
heard of him?
Yes, now I'm gonna dissuade any statements of pretense and jokes about the fact that this guy didn't make one of the biggest mangas of the 2000s. Yes, so we're not talking about Bleach, don't worry. I could not have...
No, we are not discussing Bleach. That would
Yeah,
be many episodes.
that would be at least 3. But instead, I guess this was the only other thing he's did that I can think of post-Bleach.
Yeah.
I know he did, like, something pre-Bleach.
No, he did Zombie Powder was his other
Right.
series.
Yeah, so this was his, like, short-lived, like, mini-series. Burn the Witch. That's what we're talking about today. We're gonna burn the witch.
I'm gonna add to that apparently, according to the little author biography in the back here, Burn the Witch is actually a part of the larger Bleach universe. So there we go. We are technically talking about Bleach here.
Aren't you excited, Bleach fans?
You shouldn't be.
No, you shouldn't. You
And
shouldn't.
and I want to preface this very strongly by saying I fucking love Kubo's art. Kubo is one of my like top 5 big inspirations. I hated this manga, but it made me want to draw reading it because his art is so good. And that's why I'm so mad.
So, choking on my hatred, apparently. Anyway, so I want to play out how this played out for me. So, you said, I want to talk about Burn the Witch. And I was like, sure, why not? I didn't really care.
Uh-huh.
You know, this is something you've been wanting to talk about, and it's been on the list. And we've already done 2 episodes of things I wanted to talk about, exclusively involving us having to do extracurricular anything. So I was like,
Right.
this is fair. And Burn the Witch isn't that long. It's only it's a mini series. It's only like 5 things. It's a lot more 5 things than you think it is, but it's not that long, and it only took me like a day. So I want to ask you, Sardo, very importantly, the hell did I just read?
I don't know, Stross. You tell me.
Actually, let me re-preface this again. I messaged you yesterday at 12:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with the literal line of, I'm so lost right now. The hell even is this, Kubo? That's what I led with.
And I think that's a great title for this episode. The hell is this, Kubo?
Well, I need to preface this that I know I did not really read Bleach. Bleach, when the big 3 were out, I read none of them. I picked a different series, and I paid for it in a much different fashion.
Fair enough.
My series didn't get bad. I just had to learn that the man who made it was a horrible person that I want dead.
Which is honestly much harder. And I'm very sorry you had to go through that.
Basically, here's how I'm going to put it. We are never talking about Kenshin until Watsuki is dead, buried in the ground so we can piss on his grave.
Yes.
Also, the day that happened was also, like, very weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it's also the same day my aunt died.
Oh yeah, I do remember you
And
mentioning
it's like,
this.
wow, that's terrible. Which, if I picked Bleach, I would have just had to deal with it at just nosediving in quality.
And I think, and this is an opinion that I think the both of us share. A lot of people don't, and that's okay. This is all opinions because we're gonna get real mean about this.
Actually, I don't know. Okay, from my understanding is that there are 2 groups of people on Bleach. The people who adamantly and ardently defend Bleach like it is their child or their lover, and their honor has just been insulted. And then there's everyone else who goes like, yeah, Bleach was great up until the Soul Society arc, and then it just starts going downhill.
That's valid.
And Anyway, so Burn the Witch came out, and this was like Kubo's second chance, maybe? I don't know when Zombie...
I think it's his third chance. Pretty sure it's his third.
Well, I'm
And
gonna
this was
say, from my knowledge, real quick, is that, like, Weekly Shonen Jump, it's hard to stick in Weekly Shonen Jump for longer than a few issues.
yes.
If they don't think a manga's gonna make it, which is fine, that happens, they will cut you. Or at least the manga. Kubo was a proven enough moneymaker to get more than one chance.
Yeah.
So I guess we should
Go
start
ahead.
with how the manga opens. We're in London.
Okay. And I have a physical copy of the manga with me that I checked out from my library because I'm not spending money on this beyond taxpayer dollars.
Technically speaking, I did pay money for the Shonen Jump app, but I bought that to read Chainsaw Man. And that has been way more fruitful.
That's much better choice. So the opening of the manga, Burn the Witch, we are introduced to our central protagonist. Her name's Noel. Noel.
Yeah.
It's spelled like the guy version. I don't know.
I don't know, there is a different version.
Well, yeah, there's Noel and there's Noel. Anyway, we meet her. She talks a little bit about how she likes uniforms because it means she doesn't have to prove herself to anybody, whatever the fuck that means. And then we promptly meet our male supporting character, Balgo. I fucking hate Balgo so much. Stross, do you understand how much I...
Well, okay, so basically what Burn the Witch is about is that in ye old London town, we're in...
Reverse London.
Hold on, we're not there yet. There are dragons in the world, but dragons aren't dragons as we know them. They are more conceptual monsters than they are monsters. Would you say that's accurate?
Yes, that is a good description.
And so in it, we learned that, like, dragons in London and in the UK are kind of like, sort of like a walled off species because they're kind of dangerous. They come in contact with humans, they go berserk.
And that's the reason they're on the English flag, is because dragons killed so many people.
Yeah. This makes no sense.
No.
This is how it starts. If this makes no sense, it's because we are dropped instantly into this, like, here you go. This would have been fine. The secondary problem is I have no idea what happened in this manga, which is weird. How is it that I'm struggling to figure out what happened? So basically the whole point is Noelle is a witch. Because witches and wizards are the only ones allowed to interact with dragons because they have magical powers, so the dragons don't go crazy, go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so far, makes sense. What we learn is that we're not in London. We're in reverse London, which is like London, but not really.
Reverse London.
And yes, it's called reverse London. It's basically London, but not really. I think. I don't really know.
So Stross, you've described the basic setup of this story very well so far. But I'm going to say you're also wrong, because this is not what we start out with. We are dropped in with Noelle having to fight off Balgo, trying to see her panties again.
No, he says knickers. Because this is
so much
British.
Worse.
Because we're British, and so we have to say knickers.
Let me see your knickers, Noelle.
And this goes on. So it should be known, this is like the original like pilot thing that's like 60 pages. This is all Balgo basically does for like 60 pages. Is wanting to see her undies.
It's a good 80% of his dialogue. Like not just with her, but with in general.
I will say this, in his slightest defense, it's also because he doesn't really has anyone else to talk to. And he only appears Well, yes, there's that, but he also only talks to like 3 other people in this entire story.
Uh-huh.
So it's like he gets better in the sense that he stops using knickers every other sentence. Now, I'm not saying this because I like him. I'm saying this because I'm being nice for
You are
now.
being very generous, and I think that's great.
One of us has to play the good cop here, and sadly it is me today. This leads into
The only good Go
to
ahead.
another factor of his name is Balgo.
And I want to say Balgo sounds like the setup for a really awful D's nuts joke.
It does, and it also or sounds like a really bad corporate, like, you know, like Squeenix. It sounds like when you squish 2 names together for talking about a single corporation, like how we call Bandai Namco Bamco.
Yes.
But,
And I want to say,
so, question: what do you think Balgo as a corporation makes?
testicle lubricant because it makes your balls go.
Well, fair enough. We were just talking about a dildo earlier, so really, are we? Technically, we are a little bit lower, if you want to go by physiological standards.
You're not wrong.
Hey.
And I want to say, while we're talking about names, this one was like a home run out of the park for stupid Kubo names.
Like, I'm going to say this because I don't know this for certain, so I don't want to be one of those guys who's like an expert. But like, if someone who knows Japanese very well could come in and like message us and say, yeah, no, his Japanese naming conventions are also fucking stupid.
Yeah, I can't attest any of the Japanese names. Like, I don't really... in none of them that were in here, Noel has the most normal name out of everybody.
Noelle
Mihashi.
Noel, we're not sure how it's pronounced. I never watched the anime. But her main partner and the girl you see her with all the time is named what's her name? Would you like to say
Ninny Bankhole. Ninny.
I feel her name is Ninny. Hello, I'm Ninny. And it's just like Balgo, Noelle, and Ninny are our 3 principal characters. Think about that, people. You are so mad. You're so mad about
I'm shaking.
this.
I'm
You're
shaking.
so mad
so
you've gone quiet. It's like, these names are so bad my co-host cannot comprehend that these are the names that were decided upon.
And the thing that bothers me the most is that out of all of them, out of our principal characters, Ninny I think was the one I found most tolerable. She was the one who I found most like okay.
I mean, okay, so here's the problem with this limited series to begin with, is that everything's happening so fast. There's no time to really get to know anyone. I mean, I know this got like animated at one point. I don't know how much of it.
Not much.
I'm not surprised. There wasn't much to begin with. But I'm like thinking about it, and it's just like, Noelle does nothing. Visually,
she is boobs.
Okay, so I know we have talked about this before on numerous occasions. I'm not sure if we talked about it on podcast. We definitely talked about it on my stream. But Kubo only draws women 2 ways. Fucking stacked. Or, like, nothing.
Nothing. Zero.
No, this isn't... In his character design philosophy, those are different. I'm saying when he draws a female body, a lady's body, he draws them either as, like, giant tits, wide-hipped, bombshell. Or, like, flat as a board. No in between.
There's no middle ground.
And if there was, they've long since died out in the world of Kubo. They are an endangered species. Sea cups are endangered. They're endangered.
They've been hunted into extinction.
They've been taken out of the gene pool.
I was rereading this for the podcast, and I think actually Noel's boob size changes between panels. And I mean, you know what? Fair enough. I will say, as somebody who has drawn a little bit of comic stuff, it's hard to keep bodies consistent all the time. Like you're occasionally gonna slip up, but like she will occasionally in like one or two panels just be like ludicrously like
I think it's a case. Like, yeah, because I think it's a case of like, depending on which angle you're seeing at, it like, because when you see her from like straight on, you can't see it, but then you turn the camera above her, and then you see like the cliff that is her
Jesus
breasts.
Christ.
And I want to make it very clear, we're not complaining about this, that it's bad, we just think it's funny.
It's silly.
It's just, it's
just
something, once you see it with Kubo's work, you don't unsee it.
And Noel is clearly like she's Kubo's girl. I mean, you said she's basically Orihime.
No, I said she. Actually, no. A better way to put it is she
No,
is
no,
what.
Rukia.
No, she's actually what happens because Kubo's two girls. If you asked me like which two girls from Bleach are the ones he drew the most and probably liked the most, if without my knowledge, he might have said this in an interview. So ignore the truth. It's what happens if you squished Orihime and Rukia into one person, body type wise.
Yes.
Because
And I would say just general looks wise too.
yeah, because she has like Orihime's hair and body, but it's like Rukia's face, especially the eyes. The eyes are the big one.
Yes.
Because Rukia always had sort of those like serious eyes look. The look in her eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Rukia. I'm like, because that's what I noticed, because I was looking at the face first. And now that you said the rest of it, I'm like, wait, no, you're right. And I'm also right.
You are correct.
He stapled them to, he put them in like the teleporter and fused them together like it's the Fly. Only it's a cute girl. That Fly reference was for my co-host.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
But yeah, I think the reason why we're not talking about the plot of this too much is that the plot is incomprehensibly strange.
It's slop. It's slop.
Well, no, okay, it's strange, but while being so easy to tell you what actually happened. Like, because what happens is they go, like, something bad happens, and they respond as, like, a team of, like, a duo to go clean up the mess. And that's basically what happens. But the rest of it, it's, like, such, like, I don't know why anything is happening or what anything means. Like, by the end of the first thing, Balgo turns out to be, like, a dragon-clad, which is a thing.
Well, Balgo is dragon-clad because Balgo has a dog, and Otsushi is the only good thing about this manga. The only, like, unquestionably good thing, other than the art. Otsushi is a tiny little Pomeranian.
And he's basically drawn like he is a fluffy bean.
Yeah, he's
floof.
just a pile of dog.
He's a pile of floof, and he's loving. And he is very much a dog.
And then Otsushi gets turned into a dragon. It's not made very clear. Maybe I'm just not reading into it enough because this story was so stupid and I didn't want to commit any more brain power to it than I had to.
That's fine.
But Otsushi gets possessed, turns into a dragon. Obviously Balgo's been in contact with him. And so Balgo becomes dragon-clad, which means somebody who has interacted with a dragon. Normally that's like in reverse London, they execute you for that, but he gets monitored by the girls because that's part of their job, I guess.
What makes Burn the Witch
And I don't understand.
hard to follow is that shit just happens all the time. There's no, and it's weird. It happens super fast. And you're just sitting there and you're like, what? Huh?
And none of it's especially enjoyable in the way it happens. Like I can deal with nonsense. I'm good with that.
Well, it's not that it's nonsense. It's just that it throws terms at you like one of the things that's very hard to write, and I think you would agree with me on this as someone who has dabbled in the writing and
Mhm.
the art, is that you have to explain concepts to people.
Yes.
Basically, what this story lacks is exposition.
Mhm.
And here's the thing, exposition is a necessary evil
Mhm.
and is helpful. And there's many ways to get it out of the way. But the problem is, it will throw terms like, he's a dragonclad because he's been hanging around a dragon and his like best friend turned out to be a dragon and no one knew. And it's just like, huh? What? What? Sir?
And you're expected to just kind of process that. And you get like a tiny little like smidgen of explanation, but it's not really much, and then they're on to the next thing.
Yeah, and that's how it basically plays the entire time.
And it's like I feel like if they'd cut some of the comedy banter balgo shit, then maybe they'd have some more space to explain the world, talk about things.
Because, like, one of the advantages, the secondary problem is, it's like, when I go back to think about Bleach, like, explaining the world of Bleach to us was Rukia the entire time. To Ichigo. So we're like, oh,
She
okay,
she
that makes sense. And we're like, yes, now I understand.
she's built in exposition and it works pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But here it's no lube, balls deep, very suddenly.
I feel like this
And
dildo has now infected the rest of this conversation, too.
I'm sorry.
uh, but the thing is, what makes it, like, sort of weird is that, like, we should mention reverse London and London are two separate places
Mm-hmm.
that our main characters of Ninny and Noelle jump between.
Yeah, they have, surface jobs and everything. Ninny is a pop star, Noelle is a student
Which
on
is
the surface.
leads to be a very good question. How old is Ninny?
Uh,
Like, they never really go into how old anyone is. It's like, we understand that, like, Balgo and Noelle are, like, late high schoolers or whatever. Like,
mhm.
they're like 17, 18 or something.
Yeah. And we assume Ninny's around the same age.
Yeah, maybe a little bit older because or something. They're part of they're part of like the like work group that keeps dragons in control, and they're part of the Pipers, which
Mm-hmm.
apparently means they have to have like slight tartan and like I'm looking at this uniform and I'm trying to decide what it exactly looks like.
It's like a little tartan cape and then like a horn thing.
Well, no, I'm looking at like the full uniform and it's like thigh high socks, uh,
Of course.
gun holster on the leg. It's weird.
It there's not really much rhyme or reason behind it, and um Kubo does not adhere very close to the uniforms.
No. Really, I think the best way I could sum up the problem with this manga in general is that it's somehow very hard to follow.
It is, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Which is usually when a manga's hard to follow is because the paneling is really bad, or well, any comic, the paneling's bad, or the art's too messy. This isn't the case.
This manga is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, no, it
It's
is.
it's,
It,
it's
Kubo
beautiful, Stross.
continues to be a good artist. The character designs are all good.
And it's like, okay, Kubo is also very good at like action scenes, fight scenes. He's very good at expressing stuff visually. And it made me so pissed off looking at these beautiful action scenes and not knowing what the fuck was going on.
This is entirely the writing is the part that's bad. I couldn't tell you who half the people's names were. I only remember Ninny and Noelle and Bulgo because their names are said enough times and they talk to each other all the time that it's a thing.
There's also a another Kubo staple in this, the offensively written lesbian.
Ah, yes, Ninny.
No,
I'm kidding.
Ninny's girlfriend, who's not her girlfriend because of course, with Kubo lesbians, love is only ever one-sided and extremely uncomfortable.
I mean, in fairness, all the romances he's ever written were all bad.
True.
It's
But
just
we also have
much more offensive with the gays.
we also have Macy, who they have to fight at one point because Macy is a former bandmate of Ninny. And Macy finds a dragon and grows very attached to it, and the dragon becomes like her pet, her companion, and so they have to take down the dragon, and they also have to confront Macy. And Macy's like the staple, like, yandere obsessed with Ninny, like attacks Noelle on sight for being friendly with her,
Well, it's
and
like the problem with all these characters is that we literally just skipped like 2/3 of what, like 40% of the manga just happened when we're talking about a completely different character. That's how unimportant everything is in this manga.
everything is bullshit. It's just bullshit.
It just happens. It just happens. This whole manga
Nobody
is
cares.
things
We
happening.
meet we meet some more characters. Noel breasts boobly a little bit. Ballsack talks about knickers.
I guess he tries to walk the dog. It doesn't go well.
Comedy ensues.
Yeah. Basically, the best way to put this manga into perspective is that if anyone asks you what reading late Bleach is kind of like if anyone says that like, oh, Kubo's actually secretly a really good writer, no. Stop.
He is an incredibly gifted artist. He draws so nice all the time.
And he does fashion. Fashion.
His fashion is so good, and like beyond being just like a technically skilled artist, he draws cool shit. Like he oozes style. Like his stuff looks so cool.
Is it good?
And then his characters open their mouths and say the dumbest, most insipid fucking.
I think nothing really sums up the problem with this entire thing than the entirety of what is Ninny Spankhole.
Any fucking Spankhole.
And it, like, I'm going to describe Ninny to you all, how she looks. Not to you, obviously, because you look at it. She is a short, petite, blonde girl with, like, mean eyes, has a bit of a gremlin personality.
Yeah.
And her name is Ninny. Like, straight up, that's her name. Not her stage name, that's her name. And then her last name is Spang, Spang, and then Cole, Cole. That's her name. It's terrible.
She has a scrungy bingus name.
She does. We were joking. Let's see. I believe our Joe. I joke for you. Your version of that name was Colorado Stevens.
Yes, these are our Kubo names.
You're Colorado Stevens, and I'm Buckland B. Buzz Off Bob Stopper, which is very because because you had like the normal sounding name that sounds really stupid in context, And then I have the other Kubo name, which is absolutely utter nonsense. Which is what Noelle and Nini are.
Yeah.
Noelle Nahashi. Totally a fine name. A bit weird,
Yeah.
but fine. That's Colorado Stevens.
That's me.
You're Noelle, and then I'm Nini, aka Buckland B Buzzoff, in quotation marks, Bob Stopper.
You have to put in the whole name every time somebody's talking about you.
Absolutely. I'm gonna put if I ever become famous enough to have to use an assumed name. I'm putting that down.
That would please me greatly.
And I want to make this abundantly clear. The reason why we're kind of just like sound like we're meandering is because this entire manga is such a like utter mess. Like it cannot be overstated how much of a mess this thing is.
You know what it is? It's idea soup.
Yes. It's a bunch of ideas haphazardly put together with no idea. Like, I wonder what the full plan was.
My personal hypothesis for how Kubo got this was Kubo fell asleep on his couch one night and he woke up around 3 a.m. and the TV was on and it was in the middle of one of the Harry Potter movies. And he's like, "Oh my fucking god, I can do something with this." And
we need to mention that this is like he only saw like 5 minutes of it tops.
yes.
Like no context.
And he's like, "Okay, but what if Harry was a girl with really big boobs?"
Which normally we agree with.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we love Harriet Porber here.
We might not like Harry Potter for a variety of reasons, but we will definitely support Harriet in all of her transitions.
Yes. And Chuck Tingle.
But yeah, it's just I think the best way to sum up Burn the Witch is that it's incomprehensible while being the most easy to explain what happened in it. Because it's like something happens, girls respond, fix the problem, they don't get paid as much as they want to, and they're like, good. Well, Nini goes that.
And they have a dude there who like he works with the service. He's like the middleman. He's part of the Pipers. He's
the dispatcher.
Yeah, he's an old middle-aged jack off.
Yeah. His whole thing is literally just to dispatch them. I think his name is Billy.
Uh-huh.
Or something.
Probably. I didn't care enough to look back.
It doesn't really matter. He's not that important. He's an older man with a mustache.
And he's one of the better characters by virtue of not doing a whole lot.
Like, his whole thing was he got, like, promoted and then he got sent back down because they realized he sucked.
He's kind of a loser, and therefore he's one of the more entertaining people.
There's, like, this whole, like, cabal of people who, like, control the wizard world or whatever. And I couldn't tell you anything about them.
One of them, who I think is in charge of the Pipers, like, the leader of the Pipers, like, Kubo was trying to, like, do Soul Society, but make it, like, European flavored.
This really one of them is just Bleach again, but worse.
It's the what if it was purple thing, but it's like, what if it was British?
What if it was British?
But one of them looks like a Delicious in Dungeon character. I shit you not. Let me find the page he's on.
Yeah.
Okay. Stross,
yeah.
I want to read you the names of these heads of the units.
Okay, tell me all of them.
Okay. Bruno Bang Knife with a Y.
Yeah, that was that was one of them. That was the guy who was in the other thing.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Roy B. Dipper.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I need a sip of water for this one. Hold on.
Oh no.
There's a Q in here, so I'm not sure how to do this.
Is it Welsh? It might be
I
Welsh.
don't know. It's Kunstner Miliv. It's Quuntnire. Kunstner.
Oh lord.
Um, the little dwarf dude is Tronbone Takinen. And the last three are pretty boring. It's Sullivan Squire, Sakarin, Harry Shake.
Well, yeah, we have to have the Colorado Stevens of the world.
Of course, yes, that is a Colorado Stevens name.
Like that's the like non-Japanese names. Like some here's the thing about a lot of I find with a lot of mangaka. When they have to write characters who are not from East Asia, names just could be anything.
Oh, what was the one thing that the baseball game with like the roster of like
Yeah.
hypothetical American players, but it was a Japanese game? Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
and it's like that. It's like they come up with some of the wildest shit. Like, think about it. There's a Jonathan Joestar. Like we don't think about how weird that name actually is because there's so many worse names. Have you thought about that? I have.
Not a lot, but I'm thinking about it now.
It's like, we should like we let a rock guy get away with it because everyone else is named after like music groups and shit, so it's like all even weirder. I mean, what? Well, in fairness, it is a bizarre adventure, so
It is. I think
he warned
Araki gets a
us.
pass.
Well, yeah, he
because
told us it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If the names are weird, that's just is.
that's normal.
Yeah. Well, you told me it was bizarre, and I can't really be mad at this bizarre thing you showed me.
You gave me what I asked for, so how can I fault that?
You said on the tin that it was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I think out of all of those actually, I think Roy B. Dipper is my favorite one just because I don't know, I like it.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Roy B. Dipper here, and I'm telling you now to go find the master plan.
But Kubo names are a whole different thing because we see a bit of that in Bleach with some of like the less recurring like bad guy characters.
The
You get some
moment
real interesting names.
the characters started having like names but not in like Japanese, they got kind of weird.
Once it got to like the Sternritter stuff, it's like, okay, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think you know, drawing this to a conclusion, Burn the Witch made me so angry because if this was like if this was a manga with like same premise, same characters, okay art, like fine art, I I wouldn't think anything about it. Or I wouldn't really care. But it looks so good.
The anger is palpable over here. And I think really like my closing thoughts on Burn the Witch before we I guess talk about something else to calm ourselves down is that like I read it and felt just utterly confused by the end of it. Which is incredible when you think about it. Like how
so?
well like it's hard to confuse me. Like I read a book earlier this year where like you jump around the timeline and it just happens.
Right.
Like it's surrealist. And I made more sense of that than this. And that was from Mexico, which means so it's legit.
Yes.
It was just nonsense.
And it's like Sorry.
Our rage is choking us to death.
Apologies.
We're
Oh,
dying.
it's
It's killing us,
it's
everybody.
so dire it's killing me. Hold on, sorry.
We're being murdered by our rage at Burn the Witch.
Okay, I think I'm good this time.
Okay.
I was gonna say before that, my takeaway was it shouldn't be this fucking hard.
Kubo, you're a professional writer. Why is it so bad?
I I don't get it. Why is it so hard, Kubo?
And that's what half the people who read Bleach said. And now they kept with it and they're like, how? Why? How can this be?
It's just like having a beautiful, handsome, talented son and then watching him go eat dirt. That's how it feels.
It's not good. It's not good.
Don't read Burn the Witch.
Don't read Burn the Witch. Don't watch Burn the Witch either. Just don't.
This is a strong anti-recommendation episode.
I want you all to know that we spent like 2.5 hours lovingly telling you to go watch something that made Sardo cry. We are telling you to avoid Burn the Witch in 30 minutes.
Go watch Heike Story. Heike Story's
The Heike clan wants you.
Heike Story is magnificent. It is so good in all ways. This is bad in many, many ways.
Yeah.
And good in very frustrating ways.
The one thing that they do have in common is that they both look good.
Oh, yes.
The downside is, one is the date who's like, this person is very, very attractive. And then tells you nothing. Vapid. Well, okay, it's not vapid, but, no personality whatsoever.
You're just the most beautiful person you've ever seen, and then it just sits there across the table like, I like soup.
I think meatballs are delicious.
I think dogs should vote.
Well, maybe they should.
Maybe.
We'll get back to you on that after a 500-day experimentation on whether or not dogs should be trusted more with voting than people. But
I think they should.
Well, I trust them more than most people. But the point what we're trying to make is, last time we did this, we spent over 2 hours, and we're going to spend probably another 2 hours minimum doing it again sometime in the near future. Burn the Witch? No.
Yes.
Bad. Don't. Stay away.
Don't. You think, it's a short read. It's not even worth that little.
It's not even that short. Like, actually, what I noticed was the first issue was like 60 pages. Second issue was like 55. And then suddenly they were both, the last two were both in the 30s. And I feel like there's a reason for that. I feel like editorial had a come to Jesus moment.
You need to stop.
Kubo, we want you to end this quickly. But no. You are us.
I want to keep drawing Noel.
You could do that on your own time.
Kubo, you can draw large-breasted women anytime you want.
He does love his large-breasted women. I want to go back to that real quick because I believe the first time we talked about it was it was the first time I played the last Soccer Wars game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was watching it and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I had, that like one meme from Ratatouille where the chef is looking at the piece of paper and gets increasingly more distressed. That was me, and then I popped onto Discord to tell you, like, Pepe, with the whole energy of Pepe Silvia about that fact, and you were like, my God. Took your sunglasses off. Realized I was correct.
Revealed a second pair of sunglasses under them.
Took those off too. It's just, I only bring it up because it's funny.
Oh, what's that song they do on MST3K for the one skit, Tubular Boobular Joy?
Yeah.
That's
Like,
that's a
I think the thing is, it's because like Kubo was more famous for drawing women with very big tits that you
yes.
forgot that he also draws women with very small ones too.
He can do that too.
I believe it was I who originally called it that he doesn't have a breast slider on the character creator. He just has an on and off switch.
The middle slider is broken.
No, it's just a switch. Big, small, big, small. I'm glad we both had the same thought. We went to the same thing. Just different segments of the system is down. The system is down. And that's why we're friends.
Yes.
But really, I think that's enough for Burn the Witch because apparently it causes both a choke up and rage, which is incredible. I didn't know we could both do that on one thing. It's just everything you wanted it to be. It's not.
It's so disappointing.
Yep. And it's just like, how are you so hard to follow? Why are you so incomprehensible? You're not about anything that deep.
I Kubo, if you're listening, Mr. Kubo, sir, I know you're listening.
Get a
I
writer.
know you are.
Get a writing partner.
You extremely successful man. Please get a writing partner.
Use Narita. He did your Bleach one-shot light novels. Those were good, apparently. I didn't read them.
I didn't either.
All my friends of mine who did read them said they were actually pretty good.
There you go.
See? Look. Oh, my God.
With that purge from our souls.
Yeah. Now that we got that out, let's see. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Let me see. We still got like 10 minutes. We might as well use it. What? Who's going to stop us? The audience? They can click away. No one can stop us except me. I'm the one with the on. I'm the one with the on and off switch.
I am the one who edits.
That is actually true.
It is, yeah.
I am in fact the editor, which is also why they are incredibly quick, easy, and very lazily edited. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I know what happened recently. Did you see the reveal for Tears of the Kingdom?
No.
Oh, you didn't? You didn't see the new trailer where they finally revealed what Ganondorf looks like?
Oh no, wait. Yes, shit. Yes, I did see this. I forgot the name of the new Legend of Zelda thing.
Right. With I'm glad that we all agreed that in this one Ganondorf had to be hot.
I mean, wasn't he always?
Well, it depends on which Ganondorf. Certain Ganondorfs not all Ganondorfs are created equal.
Fair.
I felt Twilight Princess was a bit too boxy in the face.
Yes, so.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors Ganondorf, not Gerudo enough. Great drip though.
Oh yeah, exceptional drip.
Man looked amazing.
But this one is for the fans, as they say.
Absolutely.
And I'm pulling up a picture again because hot diggity dog.
Yeah, they gave him a lot of boob, if you will. Speaking of large boobs here.
Yes. I love first thing I pops up on my recommended Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf, of course.
Yep. My other favorite part about the trailer that I noticed, and you would probably find this hilarious too, was at the very end. There's like 1 second of a three-headed dragon, and I'm like, King Ghidorah?
Oh, it's him.
And then I'm like, you heard King Ghidorah. He sounds not intimidating at all when you hear it.
He sounds cute.
He's a horrible, destructive force here to murder us all.
Aww.
He fights Godzilla.
Also, I will be right back. I have to use the bathroom.
Yeah. Hi, future Buck. Edit here. Awesome. Anyway, so I sent you just to be consistent. These are the 4 Ganondorfs.
Oh yes, okay.
Which one's your favorite of the 4 that you see? Visually
Um,
speaking. Try to divorce any writing to keep.
see, I'm thinking here. I like the first one a lot because like he's very dynamic looking. I like the flow of like upper left hand corner.
All right. Now that
Like
Ocarina of Time one, I know which one you're talking about.
yeah. His cape's got like a nice flow to it. He's got like a very powerful stance. Like he's very visually dynamic. Um the second one on the left upper right hand,
This is Wind Waker
he's
one for those wondering.
underwhelming.
He's a lot more simple, but he's maybe a lot of people's favorite.
Like I can understand the appeal, just like
Maybe not visually.
from
This is
this
more
one.
writing wise. I should.
From this one, still it doesn't give me much.
Uh,
Uh, third one, he's fine. Uh,
yeah, Twilight Princess one. It's like he's hefty.
he's a thick boy.
Yeah, but now we got a thicker
Um,
boy, and apparently, Breath of the Wild has to have everyone have their hot period.
and he's also kind of doing more of that because like his basic stances are like feet planted, very powerful. Here he's kind of doing almost like the comic book girl boobs and butt pose a little bit.
And we appreciate that here on
Yes,
the Skeleton Crew
absolutely.
podcast. But
But
yeah,
it's leaning a little more into that sensuality
yeah.
deliberately.
I mean, everyone was joking when it looked like Ganondorf was going to be in it. We're like, no, he's got to be hot. Like, if everyone else is hot, then he has to be hot too. That's the rules. And Nintendo's like, they're not ready for the fact that they're absolutely correct.
And he is a very hot Ganondorf. I think they did a good job. If that's what they were trying to do, they did it.
Yeah, Ganondorf should be a large, hot guy. I guess they realized that like everyone wanted to fuck Bowser now, and they're like, we should just lean into it.
Why not? This now, I am worried though because far be it from me to gatekeep, but if people say the only this Ganondorf is hot and they're not willing to take any of the others into consideration, they're cowards.
I think most people agree that like I think most people agree that like at least like I don't know, like Ocarina of Time one is generally also considered pretty attractive.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to kind of get into Wind Waker Ganondorf because he's so cartoony.
Yeah. No,
And
nobody's hot in that.
no one's hot in that game. Everyone looks great in that game, but no, not in a hot way. No one's like, yes.
It's not meant to be hot.
Yeah, it's not meant to be hot. It's great game, looks fantastic, wasn't designed to be sexy. The problem with you're a very specific person to be into Twilight Princess Ganondorf.
Yeah.
You're the type of person who's into like older beefy men. But not in the way that you're into older beefy men.
Right. It's a very different thing.
It's a different type of beef.
Yeah.
Is this beef bourguignon but for men? And you're more into steak? Or a beef Wellington?
I consider myself a fan of a good rump roast.
Oh, this is a terrible joke, and I do not care. But yeah, no, it's the next month, Tears of the Kingdom.
Something to get excited for.
Yeah, that's fun.
Also, Stross, I have to ask.
Yeah, go for it.
In other things that are either out now or upcoming, you gonna see Renfield?
Oh, man, yeah, I should. I just know that my problem is that like I'm so bad about going to go see movies.
Right. But I mean, just like at some point, maybe not in theaters, but at some point,
I should. We might
you
watch it.
should. I if I can make it out to the theaters, I'm gonna see it.
Well, I have to see John Wick 4 first. That's part one of this entire discussion.
That's fair.
But yeah,
I'm personally very excited for it. Nicolas Cage and his horrible, fucked up looking vampire teeth.
aren't we all? Let's see. G-Witch is back. That's fun.
Oh yeah.
I showed you the ending, which was neat. We
And
can't use that.
It's very good.
Yeah, sadly we can't use that video anymore because it got taken down.
Aww.
As is always, and I'm like, how dare you, good sir? It was probably taken down by knowing what we know. It was probably the music side of it that caused the problem.
Probably.
What's the quickest way to find yourself in litigation? The music industry.
Bunch of litigious bastards.
Oh, they're probably going to save us from the AI bros, finally, because they're going to learn a very valuable lesson. No one is more litigious than the music industry.
You don't fuck with the music industry.
Don't! We're telling you this now. I don't know how we all got away with LimeWire for as long as we did.
I don't know.
But anyway, folks, is there anything else you want to talk about before we go?
I think that about caps it off for tonight.
Excellent. Well, folks, this is the Skeleton Crew podcast telling you, sup, man?
What's up?
How you doing?
Hope you're doing good.
Yeah, I hope you have a good night, day, or, I don't know, maybe you only live underground. I'm not going to judge you.
Whatever your day is like.
Yeah.
I'm Sardo. This is Stross.
Hello.
And we hope you have a good one.
Yeah, I hope you have a good one. This is the 10th episode, by the way. We made it to 10 episodes. Look at us. Look at us.
10 episodes!
Yay. And next week, I don't know, we might be back on the Hey K story again sometime next week.
Probably.
I like how you could tell we didn't watch it in a week if we didn't talk about it for an hour.
It's that important.
So yeah. Thank you all for a 10th episode. We complained about Burn the Witch. We're probably going to be dressed as characters from it. Or dragons. I don't know. What do you think you want to do?
It's a surprise.
Well, I mean, it's a surprise to all but Sardo, because you do the art for it.
It's a mystery even to me. I pass out and just kind of go into like automatic writing mode when I do those thumbnails.
But anyway, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you're at Autopsy Garlands.
I am.
I'm at Almighty Stross. I'm the same thing at Twitch. And you're back to streaming on Twitch at Uncle Death with a K.
Yes, I am. I am doing art streams.
Yeah, those are fun. I think it's less stressful for you, which is good. To like
Yes, you were on the last one and that was fun.
Yeah, I was thankfully I was free for one of them. All I know is next time around when you do play games again, I'm forcing you to play 13 Sentinels. I will buy that for you and send it to you. I will make it happen. I
am so afraid.
You should be. That game gave me incredible psychic damage.
Bring it on.
Hell yeah. Anyway, folks, you have a good night now. And remember, hit that subscribe button. You don't have to like the episode. I don't really care. Only like 10 people watch this. But yeah, subscribe so that you don't... I don't know. I've been told that like 99% of people don't even use their subscription bar in YouTube anymore. But if you do, you can subscribe. And this is us finally saying goodbye.
Bye.